Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. I have the privilege to represent over 2 million Walmart associates worldwide. We have just about over 1.4 million here in the U.S. So obviously quite a big footprint, and we have a lot of work to do. We've made some good progress, but today I'm going to take you through kind of the journey that we've been on since 2005, and then highlight some specific initiatives, especially those pertaining to what your conference is here today, that focused on energy efficiency, some of the work we're doing there. So back in 2005, I think most are aware that we had some systems in place where we helped the victims of Hurricane Katrina. We were some of the first on the scene, and what that really taught us is that, you know, we're doing a lot of work, and our size can be used to really help the communities that we operate in. And so we wanted to go a step further, and so Lee Scott gave what we called then the 21st Century Leadership Speech. And in that speech, we talked about using our size and resources to help the common good and to make the places that we operate in better places to live. One of those initiatives talked about in there was what we now call sustainability. So we launched by throwing 3 large goals out there, and we consulted with NGOs, public officials, just external stakeholders to figure out, you know, if we were to set out on this journey, how should we go about it? And these are the 3 large goals: to be supplied by 100% renewable energy, to create zero waste, and then to sell products that sustain the environment and the people that we serve. And not only sell these products, but make these environmentally friendly products more affordable, so that everyone would have an opportunity to purchase them. Our approach to sustainability, we call it Sustainability 360, and that's all encompassing, because there's no way that we meet those goals if one of these parts of the circle is not working with us. So just to give you an idea on our footprint, operations, we have 8,000 plus facilities worldwide. Suppliers, over 100,000 globally. We serve more than 2 million customers a week, and again, we have over 2 million associates. So we're working with all these different groups, figuring out ways that they can help us achieve our goals, and we can help them achieve theirs. We had to start by looking at our footprint, and really this is our carbon footprint, although here we call it our global environmental impact. What we found is that only 8% of our greenhouse gas emissions were actually in-house. So in-house, we consider that our stores, our distribution centers, our private trucking fleet. Then there was this whole other 92% in our supply chain and with our customers. So really, as you can see, there's a lot of work to be done in our supply chain. Again, we can't do it alone, and I think a lot of you have heard about some of the work we're already doing with our suppliers, and I'll get to that later in the presentation. First, I want to talk about this 8% and some of the work we're doing with our buildings and our trucking fleet. Again, our approach: reduce our direct footprint, help our suppliers reduce theirs, sell more energy efficient products, environmentally friendly products, and then engage with public officials to figure out ways to help each other, and if there are public policy solutions that can move all of these goals forward. So the way we set up our system, and this is again back in 2005, is we set up what we call sustainability value networks. These are parts of the business, and these are the folks that really are rolling up their sleeves and doing all the great work that you hear about. And I get an opportunity to work with these captains. There's a person whose day job really is, a different part of the business, whether that be working on electronics and working with our buyers in that area. And we pick a captain that is a director or above level. So in some cases, the network captain is a vice president level, but we really wanted leadership within, people that really knew the business both inside and our supply chain to really lead this effort. So I'm going to talk about half of these today. We could do a presentation on any number of these, and certainly happy, I'll be sticking around for a little bit afterwards if you have any questions about anything that I cover or any of these other networks. So our greenhouse gas network. The goal, actively reduce Walmart's carbon footprint and increase our renewable energy use. So we have a couple initiatives underway. One I already talked about, we measured our footprint, and we continue to work with the Carbon Disclosure Project to measure that and work towards our goals. We're working with suppliers to reduce their energy use and their greenhouse gas as well. In terms of renewable energy, we have 30 facilities in California, Hawaii equipped with solar. That's already created about 130 jobs in California. We have up to 15% of our energy needs in the state of Texas that's being supplied by renewable wind power. And recently, in the last few months, we went public and announced that we have been piloting some fuel cells in 2 stores in Southern California. Each of those sites has the potential to eliminate 1 million pounds of CO2 annually, and these are powered by biogas. So just to capture here, we're trying all different forms of renewable. Some solutions work in parts of the country, others will work in other parts of the country, but as far as we're concerned, nothing is off the table at this point. That lofty goal of 100% renewable energy to be powered by that is going to take many different solutions. Just to give you a snapshot of what the stores out in California look like, I don't know if you can see on there, but these are solar panels on the roof, and they provide 20 to 30% of our store's electricity need. Another shot here, we're doing both ground mounted and the roof mounted. These generate up to 30 million kilowatts an hour of renewable energy per year, enough to power more than 2,600 homes. And they avoid producing more than 22,500 metric tons of carbon emissions. This equals taking about 4,000 cars off the road per year. Just a photo of some on-site micro wind turbine. And we have a couple pilots underway, one on the East Coast. This Sam's Club is actually out west. And we'd like to expand that. Those tests are going well. One of the things, I don't know if there's any local officials in the room, but you know, right now the permitting issues, the one site took over a year to get the right permits to actually be able to do this and put these up. And the other one was probably about 6 months. So, you know, I know not only our business, but other businesses are trying to expand their renewable portfolios and try things like micro wind. So that's one area that we certainly would love to work together on. Our Texas wind farm, we're partnering with Duke Energy in Texas to power up to 15% of our energy load. That covers about 360 stores in Texas. And it's going to generate roughly 226 million kilowatt hours of renewable power each year. This is enough energy to power more than 20,000 average American homes. And if you wonder what a fuel cell looks like, that's what they look like in the back of our 2 California stores. We're looking to expand that pilot because it is incredibly successful. It's producing up to 60% of our store's energy needs in those locations. The other thought is that as we expand this, there may be an opportunity where we have enough power to help others in the area once our store's energy needs are met. I'm going to switch over to kind of our buildings network now. Our goal was to design and open a viable prototype that is up to 25 to 30% more efficient and produces up to 30% fewer greenhouse gases. Now this is based on a baseline of our stores in 2005 when we launched this program. Happy to say we have achieved that goal. Next, we've recently announced to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions at existing stores and facilities by 20% by 2012. Some things that we're doing is retrofitting our stores with energy efficient technologies and designing prototype stores. A couple examples here: HE, which is high efficiency. 5 is up to 45% more energy efficient. And our HE6 model is up to 30% more. This is just a few examples of what is helping us, our stores that are 45% more energy efficient. We're reducing our refrigerant use by 90%, using radiant flooring and evaporating cooling technologies. And we're featuring daylight harvesting systems, LED lights, white roofs, and efficient bathroom fixtures. Here's an example of a white roof. We have these on more than 2,000 sites now. And these reflect sunlight and reduce the amount of heat and energy required to actually cool the store. These are our new refrigerated LED case lights. The total savings in average Wal Mart grocery section now is 59,000 kilowatts per year. These LED lights are longer, they have a longer life, so we don't have to replace them as much. They also generate less heat, which obviously helps with the product inside the cases. And they're up to 50% more energy efficient. And we're partnering with General Electric both on these and the LED lights that you see here that we have started implementing in some of our parking lots. This the good thing is those lights, those LED parking lot lights are actually made here in North Carolina. This is actually a store in Central America. So we're taking and working with a supplier here in North Carolina and exporting those goods to other countries. And we've seen up to 50% energy savings on these LED lights, and we've started to roll those out here in the US as well. And I'm not sure how many people are familiar. There's been a lot of talk. I was actually at UNC Keenan Flagler yesterday, and there was a lot of talk about smart grid. And one of the things that we do is we have this Walmart Advanced Meter and Web solution where from Arkansas we actually can monitor all our stores across the US, and we do so 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So if you go back to that last slide where you saw the refrigerators in our stores, we actually know when a customer or an associate has left a store door open. We know when the energy rates are high and we need to get on the phone and call the store manager and talk to them about why they're using more energy and not being as efficient. So it just goes to show when you have a centralized system, it can help you meet some of your goals much faster. Now to move over to the logistics network, we have one of the largest private trucking fleets in the country. We set a goal to double fleet efficiency in the US by 2015. And we're retrofitting our trucks to increase this efficiency. And we're also providing innovative solutions on how we change our routes to be more efficient and how we load those trucks to make sure that we're always moving with a full load. All this told, we saved over $200 million in 2008, and that's prevented 200,000 metric tons of CO2 going into the Earth's atmosphere. Some of the pilots that we have right now that we're trying in terms of alternative fuel trucks, we have hybrids. We have 15 trucks in the Arizona, the desert climate, that are running off waste grease from our deli, so the brown grease. And we also have, I think it's 5 liquid natural gas trucks that we're piloting in Southern California. So all these pilots, when it makes sense and something works, we immediately implement it into the rest of our fleet, which is the reflection of that 2008 number, the things that we learned from 05 to 08. So I encourage anyone that has a fleet to talk to our representatives who are working in these networks, because there's a lot of savings there, especially from a public sector standpoint. I know a lot of governments have large fleets, and we've made a lot of headway in our logistics network. I just want to touch on waste just a little bit, because I think there's some overlap with energy. What we found is that if we can eliminate waste, we can save a lot of energy. And so our goal is to eliminate all waste going from a Walmart store to a landfill. We've made tremendous progress on that. Here's just one example of, and this actually is an idea that generated at the store level. And that was that, we had all this extra cardboard in the back of a store and plastic of all sorts that they were trying to capture and figure out, where to put it, get it in the right recyclable container. We created what we call the super sandwich bale. And what that is 2 pieces of cardboard that kind of serve as the ends of a loaf of bread, and then all this recyclable plastic in between. And then we wrap it, and recyclable trucks come to our stores in the back, and they recycle this material. So you can see everything that is included there. It includes plastic hangers, office paper, millions of pounds of aluminum, and this is 182 million pounds of loose plastic that's no longer going to landfill, 18.9 million pounds of plastic hangers, 12.4 million pounds of office paper, and 1.3 million pounds of aluminum. So just that one simple change has got us a long way towards that goal of zero waste. And then just plastic bags. I know in one case, we have a store in Wilmington Kitty Hawk, that has eliminated plastic bag use. So this is an issue that we really care about. We're working hard internally to figure out the right solution. But we've set a goal to reduce plastic bag shopping waste by an average of 33% per store by 2013. We've reduced our plastic bag waste so far by 2.5 billion plastic bags since launching this goal. And any of you that are Walmart shoppers, or even if you shop at some of our competitors and have plastic bags, we encourage you to bring them back. We actually have containers now in the front of our stores where you can recycle the plastic bags, as well as the dry cleaning bags. Those can also be recycled. So you can help us meet this goal by bringing those back. Those items then end up in that sandwich bale that I just showed you. So if you weren't aware, I just want to make you aware of that. And our packaging network is working to reduce packaging by throughout our supply chain by 5% in 2013. This is an example where we learned from one of our competitors. At Sam's Club, we used to sell our car seats in a big brown cardboard box. So not only could the customer not actually see the product, they had to go on whatever the picture was on the outside, but they had to deal with all this waste when they got home. So one of the things we saw at Costco was they were just wrapping these in recyclable plastic. We said, why don't we do that? It creates more shelf space, so we can have more products ready there to buy for a customer. They can see the product, and it worked. Customers started voting with their pocketbooks, and we've seen our sales spike. So again, just an example of a small idea, you make that change, and it can really benefit your business. You were doing it for a business reason to really save money. At the same time, we're helping the environment. So one of our biggest opportunities is to help educate customers and work with them to make these products more affordable. We worked with one of our suppliers, Unilever, that makes All-and-Mighty, to reduce their packaging of laundry detergent. So this shows you what the All-and-Mighty bottle used to look like, and now it's been reduced to a much smaller size. That's created a reduction in 80 million pounds of plastic resin. 430 million gallons of water is now saved because they basically suck the water out of these bottles. And it's allowed fewer trucks on the road, because if you think about it, our supplier is saving money by making these, because now they can pack more of the product in one truckload. And we have more shelf space again to prominently display this product, which we did. We said, you know, as a supplier, you've done a great job at reducing your packaging. We're going to prominently display this on one of our aisles, and they started seeing results. It drove some of their competitors then in the same space to make a change. And I'm proud to say that we currently, while you may find some that if just are still in a store, there's nothing new coming in the store that isn't concentrated liquid laundry detergent. Some other examples of how we're making our selling more energy efficient products to help our customers reduce their footprint. CFLs, we've reached our goal. We had a goal to sell 100 million CFLs in 1 year. These are Energy Star certified CFLs that use 75% less energy. So they save the average customer about $30 per bulb in utility cost over their lifetime. To date, we've sold over 3 million CFLs, so all told, that saved customers about $7 billion. In TVs, a huge opportunity for us, working with suppliers to increase the efficiency of all these TVs that we enjoy. The flat screen TVs, we want to basically reduce them, and we've still got some work to do on this because it's by the end of 2010. 30%, make those TVs 30% more energy efficient. And just a few other products. By 2011, planning to double the sale of products in the U.S. that help make homes more energy efficient. So that includes caulk weather stripping, you know, the air filters, the programmable thermostats, and the power strips, which we've seen, these type of products, we've seen a increase in sales of about 20% since 2008. And the smart power strips have actually more than quadrupled in sales. Moving more to the supply chain piece, so that 92% of our environmental footprint. Responsible sourcing, big opportunity. In 2008, we had the first of its kind summit in China, where our CEO had 200 of our largest supplier CEOs come over to China, and we launched our responsible sourcing network over there in China. And the idea is to build a world-class supply chain that's more both environmentally and socially responsible. We're working with our suppliers to improve efficiency by 20% in all their factories by 2012. So we're taking our learnings from what we're learning in our own buildings network and sharing that with our suppliers. We're actually going a step further and actually sharing that with some state governments. We have a partnership with 19 state governments through the National Governors Association, where our engineer auditors are doing free energy audits of buildings that the state has picked up. And then we're improving the safety and quality of those factories, and we have very strict independent audits in place to make sure that we meet these goals. So just about 2 months ago, we announced, and this is something we've been working for quite some time on with some of our environmental partners, mainly Environmental Defense Fund, and that is to eliminate greenhouse gas emissions from our entire life cycle and the products we sell by 20 million metric tons by 2015. And this is a global goal. So you might ask, how are we going to do that? How are we going to go about? Where are we going to start? These are currently 7 tests that have been underway since 2007. Our dairy network, a lot of opportunities to reduce greenhouse gas emissions there. DVDs, actually I don't know if you've noticed the last time you've picked up a DVD, but DVDs now, instead of having plastic, basically 3 sets of plastic, have reduced and taken one of those out and have cardboard. Part of that is something that we worked on in our network, and now everyone in the industry is doing it. But not only is it reduced waste and plastic, but it's really cut down on the carbon emissions to make that product. So just little things that go a long way. Finally, again, our goal in the Beijing summit was our top 200 factories in China to make them more than 20% energy efficient. And that supplier program that I discussed is actually called SEEP, which is the Supplier Energy Efficiency Program. And that's working with our suppliers to make their existing buildings more energy efficient. What we've seen in terms of carbon in our supply system, the biggest opportunities are in the materials and in the energy cost. You can see here raw materials, energy used to either extract those materials or make them into a product, and then the amount of energy used to package those materials and then transport. So we're working with each of those phases to get us to that goal of reducing by 20 million metric tons. The sustainability index, this is established, the point of this is to establish a single source of data so that you, our customers, can decide how sustainable that product actually is. So if you think about, right now you can go and look at a nutritional label. There's really no way for you to have any understanding of the environmental impact of that product that you're picking up off the shelf. So the intent is to have retailers all work together and coming up with a larger index where we can measure that. This is a good example of, I think, where the private sector is getting out in front and really trying to drive some change that makes sense for business and hopefully the consumer who they interface with. And if you want more information on this index, here's the website at the bottom, sustainabilityconsortium.org. We provided some initial seed money to get this started, but now have moved away, and actually this consortium of universities is managing it, and I'd be happy to get you more information, or you can go to this website. These are the questions that we've asked. We started with our top 200 suppliers again, and we're expanding that now. They range from trying to capture the energy and climate impact of the product, the material efficiency, are they working to reduce waste? What natural resources go into making the product? And then in terms of sourcing the product and the folks that are actually making it, are they using responsible and ethical practices? So all of the answers to these questions this data will then be crunched and put into a system by that consortium of universities. So right now we're still in the supplier assessment stage of the consortium. So suppliers are still answering those questions or going through their internal processes to figure out how they can go about this, changes they can make. The consortium will then do a life cycle analysis. We think that'll probably occur within the next 2 years. And then just looking forward, hopefully 5 years from now, hopefully sooner, but we think 5 years from now, you as a customer will then be able to go into a store, not just our store, but other retailers as well, and know the environmental impact of so many of these products. And just to give you an idea, more folks are joining the consortium every day, but you can see some of our competitors have already joined, and certainly a lot of our suppliers. and several large environmental global leaders are also a major part of it. So if you would like to join the consortium, I recommend you go to the website or come see me afterwards, and I'll definitely get you in touch with the right people. Even if you just want to learn more, these folks are going around and giving speeches just on the consortium as well. So we welcome any bright ideas on how to improve this, and look forward to working with you all. Finally, just want to touch on what we're doing with our associates and communities to help spread our sustainability message. One of the ways that we're helping get closer to that goal of zero waste is that we are now donating food from Walmarts and Sam's Clubs. We are now one of the largest donators of food to Feeding America. Last year, 100 million pounds of food was donated, and we estimate that it'll be around that, if not greater, this year. That equates to about 70 million meals. We've donated 35 refrigerated trucks. This is in various locations across the U.S., and that's one of the needs that food banks came to us and said they needed, was refrigerated trucks, and we've tried to make those as energy efficient as possible. So again, sharing our learnings with a nonprofit partner so that they can become more energy efficient. And lending our distribution and logistics expertise to these food banks so that they can get the freshest product to the people that they serve. We also have a large associate sustainability engagement project that's been underway for quite some time. It's completely voluntary, but we've gotten some remarkable ideas from associates all over the world. I'll give you one example. Here in North Carolina, we had a store manager. We have the break rooms in each store, and there's vending machines in those stores, and the store manager said, you know, this room is very well lit. Why do we need these light bulbs and all these vending machines? So we thought it was a good point, took a look at it, took these light bulbs out, and we've saved several $1 million now by just taking the light bulbs out of our vending machines in our break rooms. So if you guys think about how many break rooms you have at your facilities, we encourage your employees to really get engaged in a sustainability initiative like this, and a good idea can come from anywhere. Our Acres for America program is something that's running currently between 2005 and 2015. This is where we conserve at least 1 acre of wildlife habitat for every acre that we develop here in the U.S. So far, we've committed over $35 million to this effort, and these are the states that we currently have a program going. This is managed by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. And then again, I've covered this, but just sharing our learnings both with public officials and suppliers. If you wonder what many of you can do to help, that is, I think, one of the things that roles Walmart is playing with all these technologies, energy efficiency technologies, is helping with our volume and our size, and our suppliers and our supply chain drive down the cost of these items so that others would have the opportunity to be able to afford them. So working on supportive public policy that helps not only us, but many in this room continue to drive that demand up for those energy efficient technologies, and really create a market demand, which I think we're getting closer, but I don't know if any of you have been over to China lately. I mean, every time you go there, it's like a new city pops up, and they're implementing all these energy efficient technologies from the ground up. So how can we break through this old inertia and really work together to surpass some of our competitors in other countries? Finally, I only touched on just a few items today, but if you want more information, and I'll leave this slide up for a little while, I recommend going to any of these websites. We're actually just about to release our update to our '09 report. So we put a sustainability report that measures where we're at against all these goals. We put one out every other year, and in the off years we put an update out. So we're putting an online update so you can go through each of these goals, see exactly what we're doing, where we've made our mark, where we haven't. And that should be available online at this walmartstores.com site by the end of the week.